pretty loud "Let's Go Celtics" chant in Miami on Monday night.
Yes.
Which I think bodes well for this team. They are popular, certainly on the road. It used to be that way for the New England Patriots and for the Boston Red Sox. I don't know if it still is or not. But it seems like certainly we were talking about Jayson Tatum and the night he had on Monday night, and it seems like maybe if you were somebody who was close to panic or concerned like I was, it seems like they've turned things around a little bit.
Were you close to panic?
I was. Wiggy kept telling me, "Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
Listen to
it's
Wiggy.
regular season." And so I don't know. I the injury thing, they keep dealing with it. Now they're without Drew Holiday,
Yes.
and Jalen is questionable for tonight, I guess. But there's no worry on your face whatsoever.
No, it was cool. I was at this event last night that Jayson Tatum, his personal basketball skills coach, who he's worked with since he was 13, 14 years old, he released this book that he wrote about, kind of motivating people because he works with Halliburton, he works with Joel Embiid, he works with Bradley Beal. His coach was from St. Louis and has worked with all these NBA stars for the last decade and a half at least. And he had Tatum as a guest there. And so they were sharing all this footage from back when he was in high school. It was really cool. They had like 16-year-old Tatum playing in his high school gym. And then they had all his stuff at Duke. And then they showed his pre-draft workout in front of Danny Ainge with the Celtics. They showed an exclusive footage of his workout with Kobe Bryant that we've heard so much about, the late Kobe
really
Bryant.
cool. Yeah.
It was really cool. And listening to Jayson talk, it was just a reminder that Celtics fans are very lucky, and the Celtics are very lucky to have somebody who is, maybe you think he's boring, or maybe you think he doesn't, talk all the stuff on the court that you wish that he did, or he doesn't have beef with other guys like on other teams like you wish that he did. But his dedication to his craft is so ironclad. It is so set. And I just think that we take it for granted. We take for granted that he has some of the highest usage in the league, that he plays some of the most minutes. He's a top 10 minutes recorded every single year that he's been in the league. He's a perennial all-star. And I think as long as you have somebody like that in the center of your core, Jalen, props to being on the Tonight Show last night. He's awesome too. But Jayson is the North Star of this team. And as long as he continues to develop, he's only 26. He's stepping into his NBA prime now. So think about what the Celtics have done up to this point. He's stepping into his prime now. So you can say, he hasn't done what I wanted him to do in the playoffs. I want him to be more like Kobe. I want him to be more like Paul Pierce in the clutch. He's turning into that. The time is now for these next 4 or 5 years. And I just think Celtics fans should allow themselves to breathe easy a little bit more. Even if you're 16-10 at home and you wish you had a better record at home than that, I get it. They're not playing to the level that they were playing last year, but that's your North Star. And last night was just a cool reminder of that.
And we complain about load management and guys taking nights off. It sounded like he really insisted on playing Monday night.
Yeah, and that's who he takes nights off. Like all NBA players take some nights off. But I think between him, the only two stars, all-stars, who are in top 10 minutes played this season, and I'm not talking about minutes per game. I'm talking about overall minutes, and all the games that they play, are Jalen Brunson, who's still relatively new on the scene compared to Jayson Tatum, and Jayson Tatum.
Yeah.
Everybody else is further down.
Because that's because of his mom's. Because if you watch Starting Five, she talked about where she couldn't really afford that basketball coaching. She said, listen, if you're going to go there, I want you to put him through hell. And if he continues to show up, then it's obviously worth me, coming up with the money to pay for it. And that's what you see as far as his work ethic. I just look at this team, and when you start to see, even in the games where his ability, when he comes out, he's not shooting great early in the game, but his ability to, when he puts his mind to it and just to say, all right, I'm going to take over, I think that's what we're getting a little bit more with him now, especially the past couple of games. If you watched it, his ability to just say, I'm taking over quarters.
Yeah, and there's something about it where I do think that his all-around play style just is not conducive to some of the headlines that a Luka or even Giannis will get, where he drops 40 and it's like against the Knicks. And everybody up to that game is saying, oh, the Knicks, they're right on the heels of the Celtics. The Celtics aren't who they were last year. They can't catch Cleveland, even though they beat Cleveland. They can't catch them in the Eastern Conference standings, and everybody's panicked, and they're not, they're vulnerable. And then he drops 40 on the Knicks, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like there's no follow-up. It's like, oh, that's nice for Jayson. All right, keep it moving. All-Star weekend, okay.
You bring up Jaylen in the Tonight Show. Does it bother you? Because I've seen a few people say that it's bothering them that he's been questionable for, game in, game out, and then to be on the Tonight Show. Some people don't like that aspect of Jaylen.
I mean, is he hooping on the Tonight Show?
Right.
I don't think so.
No.
Like, what, you think his knee is going to get inflamed by sitting in the low chair? It's right before All-Star break.
Right.
I think that's ridiculous. Like, that's so goofy. You think that that's going to affect? He should just sit at home in a cold tub for 24 hours a day.
I think people hate on him
out?
just to hate on him when it comes to Jaylen Brown.
I mean, there's Courtney.
I know, yeah.
I don't mind
we
that
all got haters.
I don't mind that, that you can get some of these guys some rest if they need it, because the most important thing, and we've kind of talked about this all year long, is the most important thing is the playoffs. So they're not, the expectations for us and Greg said it jokingly at the beginning of the year, as his team, all right, they go undefeated. Like, yeah, we had great expectations, but I still
think he was kind of serious, if we're going to be honest. But that's okay.
No, he wasn't. Yeah. So we were like, we thought they would have a really good season, and as far as record, could they really contend for the Golden State 74 wins?
But would you want them to? Because remember what happened to that Golden State team. They burnt out. And Steve Kerr, whether you like him or not, after the fact said, I think that became somewhat of a distraction. I think that burned us out, being focused on that historical goal. I'd rather have a championship if I am part of the Celtics than have the regular season record. Ask the 2007 Patriots, which they'd rather have.
Yeah.
Ask the Bruins from a couple of years ago. Whatever that was.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. That's the Bruins' historic season. But, yeah, to me, it's more about get to the playoffs, keep everybody healthy, and then that's where you're going to be able to do what it is I think they can do again and repeat.
Texter would like to know, Mego, any concern when it comes to the Drew Holiday injury? It's a shoulder, but it's lingering.
Yes. So I think with that, it's something that I would be surprised if it goes away this season. So I think what they're doing, like my perspective, what they're doing with him right now is managing that. He's 34 years old. The style that he plays is extremely physical. What he does as a perimeter defender is just takes a toll on you. And I don't think that shoulder is going to get much better. Hopefully it doesn't get much worse. But it's part of the wear and tear of the style of play as a defender that he has that is going to get to a point where, okay, take him out a little bit, pace him, and then get him back in the playoffs and let him be the guy that we've seen him be in the playoffs.
How did Luka look in a Lakers jersey for you? And that was going to be my other lead this morning was, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of turning into conspiracy Kurt a bit after seeing the numbers of the Super Bowl and how it's the most watched Super Bowl, whatever. It's like this nostalgia that these leagues are trying to bring you back to. The fact that it was KC, Philly 2 years later. Can they right the wrong? Now trying to get Celtics, Lakers back into action. I saw Curtis, the first article written on NBA's website after his game was, this is now appointment TV.
Yes.
Luka on the Lakers is appointment TV.
I mean,
and I said
6 straight for the Lakers, and he spent $500,000 to help people victims of the fires, and fans in Dallas are being kicked out of the arena by the new owners for saying to fire the GM. It's all coming together.
The Dallas reaction to everything is bizarre.
Nuts.
The Dallas reaction to everything after this trade, what did you expect?
Right.
The reaction from ownership and everything down there is bizarre. I'll say for the Lakers, I maintain that the Lakers are just an annoyingly positioned franchise. Like, they are not just one of these tent poles of the league, the way that like the Dallas Cowboys are in an annoying fashion for the NFL, but they're also in LA. They're also at such a desirable spot. And so I think that this is a little bit different than, say, having LeBron come there, because obviously LeBron wants to go to Hollywood and he wants to be near his kid playing at this great academy and all that stuff. Like, that just works in LA's favor. But I'm not at the point where I'm looking at the league and going, they want the Celtics-Lakers dynasty years to come back, like them battling it out. But I mean, yeah, I don't think it's bad for the Celtics either.
Right.
Like, good. All right, get more eyeballs on the Celtics. Everybody was complaining about Celtics Mavs in the finals last year. So if this helps get more eyes on the Celtics, that's not a bad thing.
The problem is the Lakers just got to get by OKC.
Yeah.
Denver.
Well, the league. I mean, I don't know that anybody is like enthralled about having a market like OKC in there. I mean, it's like that's a tiny market.
Yeah. Believe me, if it's OKC Lakers in the conference final in the West, it'll be like Sacramento Lakers, whatever that was. There will be calls like you read about. Donaghy will come out of retirement and ref with Foster in that game. There's no way in hell Oklahoma City, if the Lakers are there, is going to be playing the Celtics.
Well, weren't the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, a couple of years ago against, it might not have been OKC, it might have been Denver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and so
Denver, a much bigger market than OKC.
I guess.
I mean, do you think the Nuggets get back to the playoffs?
In the Western Conference, I would agree with, I think, Mego, you might have said this before. I would think that it is OKC. Then the Denver's been playing well. They're another team. They've won like maybe 6 or 7 in a row. They're playing well. Any team that has the Joker on it, and then who's the third team in the West? Is it? It's not.
I mean, Houston's hanging around there.
Yeah, Houston's hanging around, but I think there's another team. I'm for some reason I want to say Minnesota, but I don't think it's Minnesota. But yeah, I would say that. It definitely is the OKC. Like the Celtics, they're the team in the East. OKC is the team in the West. I don't know who can beat OKC.
Denver, 18th media market. OKC, 45th.
45th.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
And at the same time, OKC has some big stars over there that are going to be rising. So sometimes it's like, hey, where was everybody complaining when OKC was going against the Warriors and it was Durant and Westbrook?
Right.
Like, I don't think.
See, and I think I don't
think people look down their nose at that.
I think a lot of the problem is it's kind of like I kind of make it similar to the NHL with like Connor McDavid. I think a lot of the problem is those teams are on so late, so you like never watch OKC. Like, so we never get to see SGA play. When the Joker was kind of at his height, we really didn't get to see him play that much. So you might be shocked if you actually get a team like OKC when you actually now, because people talk about him as being MVP, and then you get to watch him play. I think we were excited to see the Joker play, and we were like, oh, wow, this guy is really as good as advertised.
You'll see it this weekend, All-Star Weekend. They got a funky new format.
Yeah, I'm done with the All-Star games.
Yeah, they are trying to make it like a mini tournament. So first team to 40 points in each of the games, and there's 2 rounds. So,
Mego, you do work at NBC Sports Boston. Great job. Do you know anything about the TV ratings this year? I haven't seen them written about. I know nationally are down. I haven't seen anything locally. Do you have any idea of what?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not privy to that information. But I will say, like we talked about, there were a bunch of headlines about the November TV ratings compared to the year before. And then Christmas did really well. And I know that it's not NFL numbers, but
Right.
the NBA is not going to be the NFL. Nobody is the NFL. And so that's the latest that I've seen. I don't know what the lag time with this stuff is, to be honest.
Yep.
All right. Well, great to see you.
Good to see you guys.
What are you
Courtney?
writing about? Have you decided what you're writing about this week?
Let's see. I just wrote about 3 trade options for the Patriots, and then I'll be at the game tonight.
Ooh.
So you're going to be there? I'll be there in a
Yes,
work
I will see you
capacity.
at the game. Where are you at? Trade options. I want to hear about trade options. Patriots.
So people will not like this probably, but my number 1 trade option right now is Cooper Kupp. And then I explore Deebo Samuel and Myles Garrett as well. I think
right.
Myles Garrett is, if there was any way that you could get him here and repair him with Vrabel, because Vrabel worked with him last year in Cleveland, that would be incredible for you, especially after what you just watched Philly be able to do with their defense against Patrick Mahomes.
Would you give up the 4th overall pick for Myles Garrett?
I would.
All right.
Myles
You and
Garrett
Wiggy.
is a beast.
Yep,
He
I'm
is
on
a
board for that
beast.
one.
Rich yesterday was also Cooper over
Debo? Me too.
all day long because of the veteran presence and the willingness to work with young wide receivers.
Well,
Porque no
Cooper's
los
also
dos?
just, he's got,
Why not both?
Okay, no los dos.
Yeah, okay, Sean.
He's got great hands.
Yeah.
Like, so there's some stuff that's going to
Doesn't
break
bother you.
down.
Age doesn't bother you, though? I mean,
He's going to be 32. I mean, yeah, Debo's younger, but
I feel like you
their
go either way.
production is kind of the same right
Right,
now.
like I feel like you could go either way. If you could get Cooper Kupp, great. If you could get Debo, great. I feel like if you get one of those two, you're still going to need another guy.
Yeah.
I think
I'd agree
guys
with that.
those guys are good. They would be like your 1A or 1B, however you would want to say it. But I feel like there's still like if you got Cooper Kupp with T. Higgins, great. I'm with you all day long. Or Cooper Kupp, and I wouldn't say that you would draft a receiver at number 4, but I just think Cooper Kupp by himself or Debo by himself is not enough. I would rather, and I think Jones has said this before, I'd rather go after DK Metcalf.
Oh, yeah, if you could. But
Right.
here's the thing is, I think that you're right, that you should at least start with one of those guys.
Right.
You have to be really bullish in the trade market because I just don't have that much confidence in free agency. Look what's happened the last 2 years. There's like one prime target in terms of wide receivers, and that guy goes and everybody else either gets tagged or retained by their teams. Like these guys just don't shake loose. So I think you have to at least go for one of those guys in the trade
and
market.
don't you think based on what happened Sunday, the Chiefs are going to be in on all of these guys?
They should, but who knows?
But I think the Chiefs, like Shine said this, and as I started to think more, I kind of agree with him. I think the Chiefs are happy with Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice as their two young stud receivers. So I think they're pretty happy with those guys. I would be all over. I know you talked about the free agent market. There's not many out there. I would be more aggressive in the trade market this kind of offseason.
Definitely.
What
Super aggressive.
I do wonder though, Greg, is the Chiefs have been the old Patriots, meaning like DeAndre Hopkins, the best players on bad teams have gone there for less.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's now shifted to balance out with the Eagles a bit. You know what I mean? Like they won't have the market cornered on that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I also am worried about Clark Hunt spending a ton of money. Like the Chiefs have never been a consistently high-paying team. They were with the Patriots in the NFLPA grades for like worst facilities, worst everything.
Meaning you don't think he's willing to spend a
Right.
lot of money. I think they're going to look at it and go dynasty possibility slipping away. We got X amount of years with Mahomes.
Overspend.
They're going to owe Mahomes, I think, $60 million this year.
That's the
Yes.
cap number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sadly, when teams make it to a Super Bowl and lose, they still make a ton of money. There isn't quite the heartbreak that the fan base
I
feels.
think they might go the Philly direction, the Chiefs a little bit, and say we need to go and get one of the higher priority running backs because I feel like they have the wide receivers. They'll be able to find the tight end that will fit with Mahomes. Their biggest thing, obviously, maybe a few linemen here or there, but they need a legit running game where at least you're willing to give the ball to the running back. Like they don't even do that.
Yeah.